Hello everybody, Andy here from Glass Half Dead, the only Kill Team channel on the internet. Unless of course you're aware of any other Kill Team channel on the internet, in which case, I've just lied to you. So, hi everybody, I wanted to do one of my classic beginner helpful videos, and it's going to be focusing on Dead Silence and the starter set, and what do you buy if you want to start Kill Team. There's lots of new people coming into Kill Team all the time. It's a very popular game, largely because people want to come over from 40k, but play it without having to spend thousands of hours and pounds, dollars, whatever, to get their game in. And you'll probably come over here to Kill Team and you see that, oh, there's this new Tau and Space Wolf thing. Is that how I'm supposed to buy into the game? Oh, but there's also a starter set. And there's 1,000 different teams. What do I buy? I'm here to break it down to you and let you know what's going on. First things first, before we get to anything else, I'm assuming that you are watching this during the week leading up to Dead Silence. So Dead Silence is not actually released yet. And because of that, I'm going to very quickly explain to you how the release system for Kill Team works. The starter set that we see here above me is a permanently in stock item. Regardless of what's coming out ever, the starter set is always available for the 3 years of the edition. Good. If you cannot find Dead Silence or a very specific, whatever our latest quarterly release is, the starter set can be purchased. And I'm going to give you the pros and the cons of the starter set in this video as well. Dead Silence is simply the latest expansion. An expansion, for what we are talking about here, is simply every 3 months we get a new box, which is around the same price as the starter set, and it will give you 2 teams and something else. The starter set gives you 2 teams and something else as well, but obviously focused on slightly different things. So the reason I'm doing this video is because, firstly, I think that Tau are very popular, so are Space Marines, so this is actually an amazing starter set. You get 2 teams, and it is actually £2 cheaper, let's just call it the same price, as the starter set. So you can get 2 teams for cheaper than the starter set. Should you buy it? That's the question I want to answer for you today. I will give you the pros and cons of Dead Silence and the starter set. Now, before we get into it, very quickly, so you are aware, how you buy the latest expansion is on Saturday at 10 a.m. GMT. It's different depending on your times. Figure it out. You will have to go to the Games Workshop website and purchase it from there. Cool. That is the best way to get hold of it. An alternative is if you have a local game store the weekend before, so in the week up to the actual official GW pre-order, give your local game store a call. They can take pre-orders before any customers can pre-order them. So if you go to your local game store, they should be able to get hold of it. Cool. Failing that, obviously, there are ways to get money off if you don't want to pay retail. So these cost £67.50. You could get anywhere from 10 to 25% off, depending on where you shop. So we could be looking at £62, or you could be looking at like almost as low as £50. So do keep that in mind. There you go. But Dead Silence, here's the thing. They tend to sell out quite quickly. So although I'm talking about Dead Silence specifically in this video, every 3 months, this will come up again. So it won't be Dead Silence next time. It will be that Sisters of Murderwing thing. And then after that, it'll be the next one and blah, blah, blah. And it's a constantly rotating cycle. And everything I say here will be true for that. It's relatively hard to get hold of. And it's almost impossible to get hold of if you miss the weekend it releases. However, I will say one thing they've done is that it's quite hard to get hold of if you are ordering online. They seem to have very limited stock. But GW has been quite good about making sure that on release day, which is 2 weeks after it releases, you can they make sure that every store gets like at least 1 copy. If you couldn't pre-order it online, do check your local game stores. They are getting physical copies. Good. Okay, right, with that said, before we dive into the pros and cons, for a beginner perspective as to which one you should buy, the starter set or Dead Silence / our quarterly box, I would like to give a subscriber only benefit. And that subscriber only benefit is a big double hello. wow, so wholesome. Truly the wholesome serves the bounty of the world of Glass Half Dead. And, you know, if you want that in the next video, just leave a like, a comment, drop a subscribe, all that good stuff. That'd be awesome. If you are a veteran of Kill Team, that comment can be, which do you think is better? And drop any advice that you have for new players, because hopefully some new players will be watching this as they're looking for advice. And if you're a new player, which is coolest? Stealth Battlesuits, Space Wolves, Plague Marines, Angels of Death. Let me know, which is the team you actually want. Okay, let's... Oh, also, sorry. If you're in the UK, if you click on my affiliate links, I have Element, Wayland, Red October games. That'd be awesome. It gives me a little kickback, costs you nothing extra. And these are why I use them. And then Wargame Portal in America, if you want to click on that, gives me a little kickback. That'd be awesome. Thank you very much. Also, if you're looking to buy some Kill Team stuff, these are the two systems that I use to transport my models, to have the cool game aids, because we all have aids, either Crossfire or GG Easy. Again, affiliate links below. And with this one's, not only do you give me a kickback, but you get money off for using my link. Okay. Now, I actually want to start with Dead Silence because this is the box that will rotate out more often. And if you're not watching this video this week, then getting hold of Dead Silence is going to be quite challenging. So first things first, what do you get in here? Oh, again, keeping in mind that the reason this video has been inspired is because of the very similar price. Often, these quarterly boxes will have additional things and they will be like £80 instead of £67.50, right? Like, you know, so £12.50 difference and you'll get like a sprue of terrain is normally how these break down. Anyway, there you go. So you get two teams. These are two full teams. We don't know fully how the teams play out, but Kill Team is a game where every single box is a valid team. You might not get every possible loadout, or you might have to magnetize to make that the case, but we know that's how Kill Team does it, that every single box is a complete team. There you go. You also get your data cards. Now, I don't care about data cards. Let's be clear on that. However, I think if you're a beginner, data cards are actually super useful. And so the data card packs here, so you're aware if you've never got them before, will be every data sheet. It will be also all of your ploys, both strategy ploys, firefight ploys, all of your equipment, and the universal equipment. So keep that in mind because that's obviously very useful as you're learning the game. Me personally, I don't use them anymore, but they're there. You get tokens. So you see this sheet behind here? This here is a set of faction-specific tokens. It also has a few generic tokens, but to be very clear, although you get the faction tokens as if you were buying the Kill Team box, what you don't get, actually, and this is important, is you do not get the core tokens. And so if you are buying this, you would then also want to buy the core rulebook so that you can get hold of tokens, or when I'm saying core tokens, sorry, because you might be a beginner, you don't know, in Kill Team, you can... Basically, every operative is given an order. They are either engaged or concealed. You don't have to use the official tokens, but honestly, having two colors of tokens that can be flipped is so... It's going to be a much better game experience for you to do it that way. So I would recommend either the official tokens, which are perfectly fine and nice, or Crossfire Games does their own like custom 3D printed ones, which again I use. They're nice, chunky. They're not going to wear out as fast as the official ones. So I would recommend either of those, but you will have to buy additional tokens. I would say that is one of the core things you would need to buy as well. Like forget the rules, because we all have different opinions about buying physical rules, but you need tokens. And honestly, I think you should get official tokens, by which I either mean the 3D printed ones, specifically designed for Kill Team. That's what I mean when I say core tokens. I mean, if you're trying to like, oh, I've got a 1 cent and a 5 cents and a quarter, and when it's on its heads up, that's engaged. You know, make it easier for yourself. Find some official Kill Team specific tokens. You then also get a campaign system. So this is unique to Dead Silence. This is very much going to be an add-on. We don't know exactly what it is yet. We don't know how fleshed out it's going to be. Normally, what they do in these dossiers, in these expansion boxes, is they are just additional things. They might have some new map layouts. They might have some campaign system, whatever it may be. This is an extra thing. Now, you might be looking to buy Kill Team purely for solo and co-op play, in which case this might actually be a really big attraction for you. But it's not kind of the core of the game. It's an additional way to play. And inevitably, whatever it turns out to be, it's probably not why you're buying this box specifically. And it won't have a campaign system entirely of its own. Normally, it will be a bolt-on to the core rules. We'll talk about the core rules later. Do note, you do not get terrain and you do not get core rules. Now, what are the core rules? The core rules are a core rule book. With that core rule book, you will also get a set of cardboard tokens. That will be your engage and conceal tokens. Do you need to buy the core rules? We'll talk about that after the starter set, because the starter set has the same issue, and we could talk about how you get your rules, etc. then. But yes, no terrain. If you're new to Kill Team, it is a very terrain-intensive game, by which I mean the terrain you have is very important. The fact there's no terrain in this box means you will have to buy more terrain. There you go. Yes, you can use any terrain. Let's be clear on that. You don't have to buy Killzone Volkers and Killzone 2 mod. You can make a good map with any terrain. Just keep in mind that will be an additional purchase. And yes, I'll say it here, if you're looking to do warhammer, you can have a good game of Kill Team with just random pots of paint and pens lying around. You can genuinely make a good map. It doesn't have to be expensive, but just keep in mind, you're not getting terrain with this set. Cool. So there will be additional things. Right. We then go over to the start. Oh, let's talk about the teams very briefly. Sorry. One of the really big things here is that a lot of people perhaps don't like Plague Marines and Angels of Death, but you love Space Wolves and you love Tower Stealth Suits. In which case, this is an easy suggestion. Consider everything I'm saying here more from a perspective of you like all four of these possible teams, you just can't decide which one to buy into. If there's one team here that you're like, that's my team, I've got to get it, then I can happily say buy that box. And that's almost always the case with Kill Team. Buy the box with the team you love. If you think one team is cooler than every other team, buy that team. And that box, that's 100%, that's the answer. If you don't like anything else in the box, sell it on eBay. But keep the team, figure it out later. There you go. Right, so these are two great teams. They're very thematic. We've already seen all of the models. That's cool. We can assume that Kill Team puts a lot of theme and narrative into their rules. We can assume they will play as you expect them to play. That's normally how it goes. We then go over to the starter set. So this is the official starter set. You get two teams. That's great. You get a tutorial booklet. You see this starter handbook here? Talk about that in a sec. But it's taking you from I know nothing about the game through 6, 7, 8 missions, whatever it is, using like how to move 2 models around the board, through to how to use your order tokens, through to how to fire, how to melee. It's going really step by step. It's like you're doing a computer game tutorial where they break it down into movement, melee, shooting, etc. Except it's in a single book. This is a really cool idea. I think it's a great way for people to learn the game. I genuinely think that if you're looking to learn Kill Team, buy this, play through the starter handbook to the best of your ability, then go and watch my how to plays on my other channel, which I don't post on anymore, but forget it, whatever. And then you'll know how to play because you've taught yourself first. You have the context for how to play online to really teach you it, and that's the way to go. Core tokens. You have the official tokens here. You see them scattered around the board. These are your engage and conceal tokens. Nothing else matters. You just have to have engage and conceal tokens. When you then go and buy a unique team, it will come with its own faction-specific tokens. But genuinely, you've got to pick up some Kill Team-specific tokens for engage and conceal. So that is a big bonus that they come in the starter set. There you go. The board. This comes with a full-size board. This is a nice foldable cardboard board. It's not like a cheap paper mat. This can be used for every game that GW does. Obviously, it's a full-size board for both Kill Team and Warcry, and it will be a quarter of a board for 40k and Age of Sigmar. Very good. Love it. Love that they didn't skimp out on that. Very good. MDF terrain. So this comes with some really cool MDF terrain. It's it's printed, so you don't have to paint or like draw on it or anything. And so you immediately get a setup board, and that's really cool. And genuinely, I think this MDF terrain, due to the way that Kill Team mechanics work, is actually quite legitimately brilliant. Like, obviously, it doesn't look as good as Volcus, obviously, but it doesn't look bad. It requires 0 setup time. It and it plays well, genuinely. Like, some people are going to say, I suspect in comments, you know, that some of the more advanced people that, oh, it's good for the first few games, but it's not, you know, you wouldn't play this in a tournament game, right? Like, I legitimately disagree. I think there is a version of Kill Team that is just on this MDF terrain. I don't think this is a bad offering at all. I think it's genuinely very, very playable. You are probably going to want to advance to Volcus and cooler terrain, but from a raw gameplay mechanics, this is a great set of MDF. Great. Now, let's very quickly talk about some of the negatives here. And the negatives to this box are, I've put them here because they're not obvious. So many people, when buying the starter set, see this starter handbook, which is very clear that's not the core rules, but it's a starter box. Of course you get the core rules in it. No, you don't get the core rules in this box. Just like you don't get the core rules in Dead Silence, you do not get the core rules in this box. In fact, you don't get the core rules anywhere apart from the original launch box, Hivestorm, and just the core book when you buy it on its own. Keep that in mind. That is something to consider. Again, if you buy this, you then can find other ways to find the core rules online, and you have the tokens. Whereas if you buy Dead Silence, I would then recommend, no, you need to buy the core rules so that you can get hold of the tokens, which only get sold, like the core Engage Conceal tokens, which only get sold with the core rulebook. Unless, of course, you want to, similar to this, find the core rules online and then buy some Crossfire 3D printed tokens. Of course, of course. The WYSIWYG AOD. I'll talk about it in a sec. So no equipment. This is, again, I'm just throwing it out there because some people may not realize. In Kill Team, there are equipment. There's universal equipment that every faction can take. It's things like smoke grenades and stun grenades and crack and frag grenades and ladders and barricades and all this stuff, right? Which is super cool, really fun. And all of the equipment does actually come on the core token sheet. So this little blob here is going to be things like your comms device and your ammo cache and stuff like that. And those are, in Kill Team, they are all a 20mm marker, which is a token, right? However, the player placed terrain, which are your light barricades, heavy barricades, portable barricade, and ladders, those 4 items that every faction can take, are not tokens. They are very specifically physical 3D models, okay? And they come in a box that is called Kill Team Equipment. You do not have to buy this. It is not mandatory for your games. In fact, I would argue, as a new player, you will very rarely take these. Razor wire as well. You will very rarely take these because the Kill Team is designed, in general, that you will just take all of your faction equipment and you're done. You don't have to worry about the universal. However, as you advance, as you play more, you probably will want the physical models for equipment, which means you need to go and buy the Kill Team equipment box. Just keep in mind that this doesn't have it. The reason I mention this is that a year ago, when Hivestorm released, you got the equipment box in Hivestorm. You did not get it in the starter set, but people just assumed you did. So it kind of, again, messed with people's value proposition of the starter set. I will also note again, Crossfire also does their own 3D printed equipment. If you want to purchase from them, it's an option. I have them. I tend to not use them because I also have the official Kill Team equipment, but I keep them with me just in case I need a spare. And then we have WYSIWYG AOD. What you see is what you get, Angels of Death. So, look, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't think this is an issue. However, technically, if you want to run Angels of Death, you will run a captain, you will run a grenadier, you will run an auxiliary grenade launcher dude, intercessor, and then you will run 3 other dudes. And the other dudes don't matter. But technically, very technically, if you want to play WYSIWYG, Angels of Death, you don't actually get an auxiliary grenade intercessor in the AOD box. It doesn't exist at all. It's something you have to go out and buy in a regular intercessor box. I just want to throw that out there because I've never mentioned it before. And the reason I've never mentioned it before is because I don't care that much about WYSIWYG because it's so obvious that you can just say this guy is the grenade guy. And I don't think it matters. And I don't think it should matter to anybody. There you go. That's all I'm saying. Done. But very technically, if you play in a very, very, very sweaty meta where they absolutely refuse all WYSIWYG of them, even the most basic kind, technically you don't get one of the models. The models you get, you can just say this is the guy, and he looks different enough to the others that nobody would question it. I'm throwing it out there. Don't let that muddy the waters for you. It's all good. I had to say it to be very technical and anal about things. Cool. Right. Okay, that's about it, I think. Do we need to talk about the core rules? Oh, yeah. Everybody has different opinions about written rules. Personally, I like to learn a game system and a team with written rules, and then I will never touch those written rules again, and I will use online digital rules. Okay, that's me. So I would say go and buy the core rulebook. There you go. I think that is the best thing for you to do as your second, or not second purchase, but purchase alongside your starter set and or your Dead Silence. Okay. However, if you are perfectly fine with learning from online resources, you can find the core book online. I can't tell you where, but you can Google it and you will probably find it. Okay. There are PDFs, there are websites hosting it, etc. I would say buy the core rules. You're cool. Likewise, when it comes to everything else, it's in the app. There you go. So you don't have to go to crazy places to go and find the rules for the Angels of Death and for the Plague Marines and for the Space Wolves and for the Battle Suits. They will all be in the Kill Team app, so don't worry about that at all. And there are no books to buy for them. You would just buy the cards if you want them, but I actually think it's fine to just use the app for them. I hope that's helped a little bit, everybody. Again, I only bring this up because the price is the same and the value proposition for certain people will be very, very similar. And if it's very, very similar, then cool. You can just make your mind up based on which is the cooler team for you personally, which I obviously can't answer for you. But then there's the little things like, well, you get the core tokens in the starter set, but you get other things over there with Dead Silence. You get the narrative campaign. In this, you get the MDF terrain. But if you have terrain because you're not just completely new to 40k, you're a 40Ker, you don't need terrain. You've got it, etc., etc. These are things, hopefully, I've been able to muddle through and help you. If you have any questions, please ask, and I will answer them if it's about the starter set or Dead Silence. I realize I haven't said everything that everybody might possibly ever want to know, so I'll answer those for you. And with that said, at the end of the video, I'd like to give you a big triple hello. That was a present from me to you as a thank you for staying around till the end of the video, because genuinely the best way to help a small channel like mine is to just watch the whole thing. Legit. Anyway, don't forget that if you wanted to support me in other ways, I do have a Patreon and all that stuff, but also you could buy Warhammer from Element, Wayland, or Red October Games. It gives me a little kickback. That'd be awesome. And Wargame Portal if you're in America. That'd be so. I it'd be very kind of you. Thank you. And again, money off vouchers. I think it's 5%, 10%. If you use my code, and again, I get a little kickback. That'd be awesome. Thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you later for the Dead Silence reveals weekend or week, which is super fun.